go, Tony. Smile for RTD's YouTube channel. You're on YouTube, Tim. You're already on there. We owe a lot to them for getting together. Those were Warren Young, Craig Price. I think Craig's here tonight, is that right? Yeah, Craig's here. Don Bradshaw, Dave McDonald, Jeff Palmer, John Collins, and Phil Brandon Brown. And as wonderful as it is that we remember those names, the actual Rod and Custom Club is a lot more than what happened back in May '65. Over the years, it's progressed to be, a fantastic hot rod club, and it's because of the members, past and present, that's happened. From my point of view, when I joined the Hot Rod Club, you're a young person, you want to build a hot rod. You're a bit intimidated by a lot of names, and there's guys in the club that have already built hot rods and got them on the road and been doing it for years. But the club was very welcoming to me, and I'm sure that a lot of people here would echo that the club is for everybody. And once you're in it, and if you fit in, and not everyone does, and if you do, off you go. And I think the thing that comes to mind for me most of all is the fact that a lot of us, the older people, say, they were the good old days, those Barmera days, we did this, we did that. And sure enough, we did. But it's important to remember that, you know, whatever stage of your hot rodding life you're at, these are the good old days right now. And everybody has had those good old days. And as you get older, you recall that people say to you, life is short. And there's no doubt about that, life is short. And the older you get, you realise that it is, it's a bit of a flash before you know it. You think, was that 20 years ago? And like Tim telling me that he's been in the club for 30 years, I thought, well, wow, you know, 30 years. So when we had the first celebration of our time was the 25th anniversary of the Hot Rod Club. We just thought, wow, this is an old Hot Rod Club. Today at our 60th year. And it's fabulous. And over the years, this Hot Rod Club has produced a lot of very special hot rodders, people that have, you know, gone on to be movers and shakers in hot rodding, like, you know, Tim Bartrop, and I don't want to, you know, name too many people, but Tim, guys like Neil Raymond who represented us in drag racing, and it goes on, and show winners and so on. It's been a great journey in this Hot Rod Club, and as I say, it's one my memories of my time in the club very special to me, and that's why I've remained friendly with the club, and that's why I've got this microphone in my hand tonight, because I have remained friendly with the club. Just a couple of things before I go on. Our night tonight, we're going to be eating very soon. The table's going to be called table by table, so when your table is called, you go up and get your meal. Later on tonight, we're going to have an auction so we ask you not to steal the decorations that are on the table, which happened some years ago when Alan Crampton did all those carvies. So these things are going to be auctioned off, so they remain the property of the Hot Rod Club until you, if you want to put your hand up front of those, there's 20 odd of them. Also, there's these beautiful prints of the celebratory logo for this 60th anniversary. There's 10 of them and they're numbered. This will all happen after dinner. So I think that's about all I need to say at this stage. There'll be a bit more happening as well. Later on, we're going to have a bit of a chat with a couple of older members. We're going to reminisce about some things that we used to do and a bit of that, and just talk generally about the SA Rod and Custom Club and the institution that it is. Okay, so let's have some dinner. I think it's about 7, isn't it? No, nearly. So I'll leave it at that for now, and we'll speak again a bit later.
So Steve, you want to come up and cut the cake? Yeah, the longest serving member of the club, so could be come on, man. Could be knives.
Yeah, I'm used to knives. Well, should we move it? Unbelievable. Here, Steve, I'll do it. You cut it off. Well, looks good. It does look good.
Hello, yeah, it does look good. Now, you know the deal, Steve, you don't touch the bottom with the knife. You've got to just pop it in there and not touch the bottom. It's bad luck.
Bad luck.
It is. You don't know that?
I've had that for years.
Anyway, let's, just before he does that, we've got an SA Rod and Custom Club 60th anniversary, 65 to 2025, and a fine looking cake it is, so off you go.
We won't stab it.
Very good, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's the story now, Tim? Do we cut?
Yeah, cake and dessert.
So the cake gets taken up there and
Yep.
cut into portions and
Yep.
okay.
And dessert's on.
Okay. So we're ready. Our band is going to do a set now, so we're going to relax and listen to their music, and get up and have a dance if you want. There's plenty to come. We're going to have a bit of a, as I said earlier, on the couch session, talking to a few old members about their life in the club, and we'll just embellish on that. So enjoy your dessert and the music, and we'll be back after that.
She was waving me goodbye with a hurry home drop on her cheeks, the trickle from her eye. Maria's only 6 years old, and information please try to put me through to her in Memphis, Tennessee.
That's a for me. That's a for me.
This is something which is Mr. Peter Gotch over here. Don't ever steal your heart away. I know it. I'm gonna live and dance, imitate before the band. Gotta wait in your head. Yeah, I'm working for the band. Picking them up, I'm a little down. Yeah, for the man. Working for the man. Things I want to say.
Again.
Thank you for the privilege. Thank you for I'm handing you the ashes.
For 15, and you are part of that club, and then there's new ones that come in, and some stay and some don't, and that's where it is. So I just wanted to just say those few words before I call a couple of the older members up here to have a bit of a yarn with us, and that's Peter Stevens, better known as Steve-O, and Kevin Johns. If they'll come up here, we just have a bit of a yarn about the old days. So I'm going to leave these guys a bit just with stuff that's always intrigued me. Take a seat, boys. You're going to sit. I just want to know whether that's actually true.
Yeah, they reckon that clear will go off unless you weather it. So that was true. Sat out in the weather all that time. And it was even better rubbing down the clear, because I put the clear on and there are plenty of runs.
So it's amazing that that car's been on the road for as long as it has, and we've seen it transition. And the brakes went one.
The beauty of it is people like Kev and all that, you get that information. he won't run around and knock on your door and say, what are you doing? But if you ask him, he'll tell you and show you. That's the difference. And you get that information by being in a club, and we're pretty lucky. And we can still get cars on the road, and that's because of Kev and a lot of people. And we're bloody lucky we can still do the sport we love. Yeah, that's the way it is. And I think early nationals were very interesting. You know, driving all the way to Naranda, you know, it's lovely across the Hay Plain, as everybody knows. Yeah, I had the lovely ex-wife and my daughter with me, and that was fantastic driving all that way. But no, the club is, I think, and Tony described it very well. Bob Moore was an entrepreneur and very smart. We were very lucky. The swap meets paid our mortgage, and yeah, we're pretty lucky to have that today. I don't think there's too many hot rod clubs in Australia that have got sort of club rooms like we have, and it's something, you know, we've worked towards, and it's something we, yeah, it's a prized possession, you know, and we sort of treasure that. So thank you, Tony.
For model cars. I get return mail that week with 2 entrance passes to that hot rod show. And I took my cars to the Dad took me and my friend down there. We've got a model cars in a big box, and we said, oh, we've got model cars, and you know, oh, I'll get Warren. So Warren comes to the door, and our cars were placed around Craig Price's bucket. Craig's bucket in that hot rod show was on a rotator in a big central stand with pine bark all around it. Even pine bark was new in those days. So he said, just put your models around there. So we both had about a dozen each. We put them all around on this pine bark thing, and we were wrapped because we could come and go as entrants all weekend. And to this day in my office, I'm very, very proud of a certificate that says that Tony Jenkins had his cars in the model car class at the first hot rod show. Very special to me. So I met Warren then, but Warren then was 18 and an amazing man. So the story goes, Andy tells me that, at that hot rod show, he said, we found some paint down the corner. It turns out, you know, I think Warren found it, it was turquoise. And a bloke had it was a 32 Ford Tour, Andy, I'll let you tell the story. And Andy told me that we painted it at the hot rod show while the hot rod show was on, and the bloke drove it home painted. Went in primer, came home painted, and I thought it was just one of Andy's stories. But I met the bloke at the Nationals. Tim introduced me to a man called Terry, and it was his car that got painted at the Nationals.
Lovely night. Basically, that's not the only thing. There's another gentleman by the name of Neville Norris also had a metal flake, fully customised Volkswagen. And Joe Romano did all the repairs, customising everything on the car, and I had the job of painting it gunmetal grey metal flake. I was one of the first blokes ever in Adelaide to paint metal flake here in the state. Anyway, the night before he was driving around with the car prior to the hot rod show. Somebody ran into the back of it. So we got onto Joe Romano. Joe Romano spent all night repairing it. The car arrived back at the pavilion, which was the old Chrysler building on Anzac Highway, and he said, I've got a problem here. And I said, look, I just happen to have still that metal flake at home. So I rushed home, grabbed some clear and some flake, and I actually finished up painting that car also there. But the flame was a ripper because they stuck me in the corner, and I was painting away there, just fumes and stuff gone everywhere. So there's a few other cars copped a bit of turquoise on them as well, unfortunately. But that was that thing, and that was just a brilliant situation. But yeah, and as Tony probably, well, as a lot of you guys know here, that the reason I became a member also of the club was that I happened to be in my girlfriend's place in '65, and just happened to be reading the advertiser, which is, you know, huge. You could wrap a car up in it, and good for masking cars up. And happened to see an ad in there that the Eastern District's Hot Rod Club and the Port Adelaide Roasters decided to call it quits and form a new club, and are looking for members. So I told Helen, my then girlfriend, I said, I've got to go to the phone box because there was no phones in the house, rushed in there to the phone box. I don't know how much I put in to make a call. I called somebody, said I want to join now, and I did. So that was my start, of course, and from there on I've got a little cup with me here because a lot of people still doubt what's happened, but for some unknown reason, when I was a member of the club, I must have done some stirring because the cup says social stirrer. And I just said g'day before, and a couple of other guys said, look, we're going to have a bit of a fancy dress sort of set up, and can you sort of come and dress as something or do whatever you want? And this was in, I don't know, I can't remember where it was, but it was a stage, heap of people turned up, and of course I rolled up in my black ripple sole boots and a pink shorty pyjamas, and I got up on stage to talk, everybody turned around and said, gotcha. Nobody else had anything on. So that was the end of that. But through my years, I did spend a lot of time with a lot of people, wonderful hot rodders and around the place. And I brought a projector along tonight because at the 69 Barmera rod run, I managed to get 4.5 minutes of film. I brought it with me tonight. It's obviously worn out a little bit, as you'd expect from 69, but I'm going to present the film to the club anyway, and Tim tells me that he's going to try and whack it onto a CD, and we'll hopefully be able to, with technology, hopefully be able to see a little bit better. But yeah, my cars at that time that I brought down was now a lot of guys still remember it. I think Scotty reckons he remembers it. But I had a metal flake maroon tea bucket with a big T in the back there. I don't know to this day where it went to. I've got no idea. Then I finished up, I paid a whole £70 for a 1940 Ford convertible. And at the same time, I didn't realise it, but I was also a member of the Road Knights. So I joined that club, plus the Ford Owners Car Club. So I was really multitasking all around. I threw myself everywhere. So yeah, anyway, I don't know how long, I mean, I've got heaps and heaps of millions of stories, of course, but we'll leave it about that, and I'm very happy to be here. I'm going to be 80 in October. I'm very blessed to be here to see a lot of people. There's a lot of guys here from way back that still sort of remember me. There's a lot of new folks here. I do really hope you enjoy the club, because I'd like to be a member again, but obviously I've only got a dirty old 2000 Falcon that done registered as a hot rod, I suppose, but I do make a lot of noise with it every now and again when I do a burnout if I can, but there you go. Anyway, God bless and thank you very much, folks.
Andy, thank you very much for that. And of course, I have a personal thing with Andy. My first hot rod, you know, I've told the story before how Neil helped me a lot with the car mechanically. Body-wise, no one in Adelaide would touch it, but Andy said, well, give it to me, I'll give it a go, and it was rusty in lots of places, and I actually bought a second car that gave us the donor parts, and Andy painted that car in Austral silver at the time. Now, the thing is, the reason I'm saying this, that car still exists in that same paint, albeit faded through to red oxide primer. None of the rust has resurfaced as rust as far as I can see. Well, yeah, with the welds, you know, the panels were done properly. But it's incredible that a car that was built and put on the road in 1979 still wears the same colour and the same trim, which is a credit to Wayne Norton, and also an ex-member. I remember buying the material. There was a furniture store in Adelaide called Vera Lee or something like that, and I saw this blue velour on a couch they sold, and a bloke I knew was a rep for them, and I got him to get me a roll of it. And to think that it's still in that car, you know, 40, 50 years later, however long it is remarkable, and the paint stays. So I don't think it's going to be that for long, because it's just moved from Hobart to Bendigo. Some known hot rodder in Bendigo's bought it, so it'll probably come back in another colour, so we might lose the... Yeah, but it's just remarkable. So I owe Andy a lot. Andy, when you build your first car, you know, you're in unknown territory, and Andy said, yeah, I'll do it, and not only that, I only wanted it painted silver, but I went to the shop one night and he flamed it in lovely aqua flames off the headlights, and on the back he'd put a silhouette of a lady, which that same thing you see on truck mud flaps, that reclining, and thus the car was called the Silver Lady, and that was his idea. to paint, and I didn't, you know, just and a lovely asymmetric line either side of that lady, and that was Andy's talent. And so I'm very grateful to Andy for being part of my hobby. You know, what really makes Kevin Johns tick. And if they ever wondered, you know, where does Steve-O go in when he's asleep, you know? Anyone got any questions of these guys?
What's in the bottom of Steve-O's sock drawer?
What's in the bottom of your sock drawer, Steve-O?
More odd ones.
Well, I think we've done well. It's been great to have a chat with these guys. How's that? Steve-O makes a good point. You know, Craig Price is with us tonight. Craig, thank you so much for making the effort. All these names have been bandied around, and you know, you were there at you know the first meeting. It's just, we're honoured to have you here, and thank you for making that effort. And yes. Yeah, so if you don't know, the club motive that you see on the back of the jacket was modelled on Craig's car. Craig, I have a story there. There's an old photograph of the car taken, it must have been in your driveway, and a good friend of mine, John Davey, and I rode our bikes one day to number 7 Brenton Avenue, Plimpton, to see if we could see any hot rods, and we did, and there was Craig's bucket parked in either your driveway or Warren Young's driveway, and that photo endures. It pops up every now and then because it was in the program that year. And my mate John and I were on our push bikes and we're standing just outside the frame when the photo was taken, and that's quite a memory to have too. We might have been, I guess, we might have been 11 or something like that, 11 or 12, maybe a bit older. But yeah, so. Craig, your car has a very special place in South Australian hot rodding, there's no doubt about that. And the fact that you still own it to this day is an absolute credit to you. It's just awesome. Yeah, let's put our hands together for Craig. Okay, I reckon we win the ban, and after that we're going to auction these bits and pieces. So auction means that, you know, they're going to be sold to the highest bidder, and we've discussed what they are. So I don't know how an auction's going to work on 20 like pieces, but we'll just have to see how interested people are in these things. So we'll do that after the next bracket. Okay, thank you.
Down to St. Louis, down to Missouri, Oklahoma City looks so pretty in the city. Flagstaff, Arizona, don't we never know? Kingdom Baskets and baby, to this day. Gonna take that California trip. GPS on Route 66. Still get your kids on Route 66. If you take this